once we have gathered this data, we need to start analyzing and classifying the metrics. Now, this is where the real challenge lies for most people who are engaging in social media. They do not, while they are able to gather data, they are not able to benchmark it or to make sense out of it. How should I analyze what data matters to me? How should I analyze whether my brand is doing well or not on social media? And that's the biggest challenge when it comes to analyzing and classifying social media metrics. The first step to analyzing and classifying is to answer what are you benchmarking against. So are you benchmarking social media platform against other social media platforms? So let's say, for example, you get 10 comments on blog, but only 5 comments per post on your Facebook page. Then you might want to consider that a blog is a more effective and more engaging medium for your brand versus a Facebook page. Similarly for Twitter and Facebook. What is your strategy on Twitter? What is your strategy on Facebook? And hence, what is the metrics that you are getting of engagement and viewership and click-throughs from these two platforms? You may just realize that on Twitter, while you have a higher engagement ratio, the number of people actually clicking on the links that you put on Twitter is lower than the number of people who actually click it on Facebook. But when you then analyze your website data through a tool, you would realize that more people from Facebook are actually not buying any products, while Twitter, even though it sends less number of users to your website, they are engaging more on your website and buying more products, right? So clearly there is a way to analyze and benchmark two tools against each other. Now the question is whether you are benchmarking against other marketing channels. So if you have a 30-second video, if you get 2 lakh views on YouTube, how does that benchmark against, let's say, you running the ad, 30-second ad 5 times on the television channels? Are you sure 2 lakh people watched that ad on television? How do you benchmark it against print? Print has an X circulation, and so does your Facebook fan page. So if your Facebook fan page has, let's say, 5 lakh fans, and you are engaging with them day on day, and you have, let's say, a 50,000 talking about or a 45,000 talking about ratio of your brand, how does that benchmark against a print ad which circulates to, let's say, 5 lakh people, or which circulates to, which has a readership of 5 lakhs? So what is the cost, and hence what is the return across marketing channels? If you realize that the cost of print and television is much higher, you would realize that it makes more sense to then invest in social media and get a higher return for each of your investments. The third question that you need to answer is, how does this social media activity compare to your competitors? As discussed earlier, you can easily track your competitors and know what are they working on, what is the content that they are posting, how are they engaging their audiences, what are the updates that are most active for them, which platforms they are present on, which platforms they have the highest reach, which platforms they update more regularly, and you can clearly benchmark your social media metric against them as, okay, if X competitor has 1 lakh fans and you have 10,000, but X competitor has 10 comments per update and you have 15 comments per update, clearly you are doing better in terms of an engagement ratio. The fourth question or benchmarking that you can do is ask yourself is, how does it compare to historical data? You have historical data, week on week data. The best way to manage your social media metric is to commit to an increasing growth in social media. For example, if my engagement ratio was 5% last month, this month we should aim for 6%. Next month we should aim for 7%. Irrespective of the total base, if you can have a progressive growth chart of social media metrics month on month, vis-a-vis your historical data, you dead sure know that you are progressing. You are progressing not only by number of users, but also as a percentage of your overall growth. Lastly, and most importantly, does it meet your objective? What is your objective with social media? If social media does not meet your objective, if after running Facebook campaigns and Twitter campaigns, you are not able to see sales on your website, then what you are measuring is wrong. You need to start measuring another metric. Maybe your strategy itself, your communication message on Facebook is wrong, and that is why people are not moving towards, or you are not achieving your objective. If your objectives are not met, then none of the other social media metrics matter. It is important to be very, very focused on knowing which objective you want to meet through social media and tracking the fulfillment of that objective really, really closely. So while we benchmark against this, these are the various engagements that you can capture, or the various data that you can capture across various social media sites, blogs and widgets, or Facebook applications or Twitter applications that you can run. I'll just go through them one by one for the benefit of the audience. Social media sites, whether it's Facebook, Twitter or others, you can track unique visitors. You can track cost per unique visitor in terms of the effort put by your resource. If your resource is worth 3,000 over a month, you can divide that by the number of unique visitors that come to your fan page month on month for managing your Facebook fan page, and you would know your cost per unique visitor. The page views that you get on your Facebook page, the visits that you get, the return visits you get, the interaction rate, the time spent that people have. You can learn this through Google Analytics as well. Your video installs that people are installing your YouTube video, embedding your YouTube video on their websites, and the relevant actions taken. For blogs, the conversation size, how many comments are coming one after the other, the site relevance that is there to your category, the author credibility, how people are perceiving the author, whether they are mentioning the author by first name, the content freshness and relevance, and how it gets linked back by other blogs. The widgets or applications of social media, you can check the installs, the active users, the audience profile, the unique user reach, the growth, the influence with the audience, as well as the active users and the longevity of the app, right? These are the basic statistics that you can see. Moving on, let's define a little bit of each of the platforms and what you need to track, both in terms of social media metric and as a financial metrics. So we will define the key performance indicators, which is the KPIs, by social media platforms, and look at each of the platforms, right from social networks to blogs to microblogging. Quickly, here are the various metrics. The hard financial metrics are awareness. So what is my cost per impression? And then I can relate that to any other marketing channel. What is my cost per impression on television, cost per impression on print? What is my cost per engagement, which is appreciation, right? What is my cost per lead, which is action, or anybody who's filling a form of my brand? What is my cost per referral, which is advocacy, right? So these are the financial metrics that we will keep in mind to benchmark it against other brands, as well as we can benchmark it against other marketing channels. But to start off with, let's look at the social network KPIs or key performance indicators, which is your social media network, which is either a fan page or a community forum, be it on Facebook or any other social media platform, right? The first aspect is awareness of social media platform. Referrals from the brand website, how many people are actually clicking on the Facebook button on your brand website? Can you track that? You can track that by using a URL shortener and tracking the number of clicks. How many unique visitors you are getting, which are the what is your total reach, and Facebook provides you reach metrics on your fan page itself, and what is the impressions of your per post. You can track this on Facebook itself, and this gives you what is the awareness metric which you are deriving from your social media platform. And also financially, you can track your cost per unique visitor or cost per impression. The second aspect that you can track is appreciation, which is brand engagement and appreciation on social media platform. Here then you can track the number of fans you have, the number of subscribers you may have on something like YouTube, the number of comments, the number of discussion threads that you have generated on your fan page, the number of active users or talking about ratio that you have on your fan page, the poll votes that you get, the videos viewed on your timeline per se, the return visits that you have, and percentage of user-generated uploads that you have, whether that's in pictures, videos, all of that. And that is appreciation of brand engagement metric, which can be then derived as cost per engagement. What is your cost per engagement on your fan page based on the media spend that you did on that fan page or the resources that you have deployed. Then comes action, which is the response that you solicit, which is basically any call center inquiries or any website referrals from Facebook, any brochure requests, any coupons downloaded, any forms filled per se, any lead forms filled eliciting interest in a product. These then can be derived into a cost per lead metric on the financial side, and you can directly correlate them to incremental sales or cost per incremental sale, frequency of purchase, average purchase value, reduction in call center costs, or the retention rates of existing customers. Finally, advocacy, right? People who are actually putting a status update about your brand on their page, people who are actually sharing your updates, the share function where they are publishing your status update on their timeline, that's a advocacy ratio, and that's a cost per referral where you can track how many people are referring your brand page or recommending your brand page. Clearly, the benchmarks are comparative stats from similar social media platforms or similar historical campaigns, other social media platforms, non-social media platform. You can always benchmark your cost per engagement or cost per lead with direct mail, banner advertising, as well as competitor activity and non-sector best-in-class activity that maybe some other brand has done. This is the social network KPI. Moving on, you can look at the blog KPIs. Here, clearly going by the same awareness, appreciation, action, and advocacy formula, you look at awareness being unique visitor impressions, search rankings, and referrals from brand website. Appreciation being people who subscribe you, whether through RSS or email subscribers, comment subscribers, anybody who links back to you, anybody who comments on your blog is an appreciation. Action is again website referral clicks, any downloads, any white paper requests, any form filling that happens. Advocacy is the people who tweet or retweet your blog post or share it on social media sharing sites like Dig or Facebook itself, or the number of inbound links you get where people are recommending your blog post or stating that your blog post was intelligent. Again, through all of these four, you can derive cost per impression, cost per engagement, cost per lead, and cost per referral of social media. The benchmarks do remain the same. Moving on, there are microblogging stats that you can track. Awareness, which is your impression, search rankings, referrals from brand websites, right? Appreciation, which is the number of followers, lists, replies, direct messages, and visit rate, which is percentage of followers who click a link. Now, if you are seeding a link on Twitter, you can use a URL shortener like bit.ly or bitly.com, and you can track how many people actually clicked on that link and thereby were reading your tweet and appreciating your tweet as well. The action again could be any form filled, any lead driven through Twitter and any other microblogging site, and advocacy would be the number of retweets and the influence ranking. So you can obviously track which user on Twitter is highly influential, and there are tools to track that. I will just take you through such tools quickly. Blogger, there are blog posts that are creating awareness, the number of tweets that these blog posts are generating, the number of responses are these blog posts are generating. This is about the blogger outreach analytics. If you are tracking, doing a blogger outreach activity, through the number of blog posts that people have written about that blogger outreach activity, you can track the awareness. The brand engagement is the number of bloggers who attend a blogger outreach event that you are doing, the sentiment analysis of the comments that they have on the blogger outreach event. Finally, the action would be any website referrals, any inquiries about the event, about your product that this blogger outreach leads to, and the advocacy would be retweets and tweets of the blogs that are submitted by these bloggers. App and widget, the app's ranking on the social platform itself. The appreciation would be the number of downloads, installs, the number of active users, the number of page views on the app or video views. Action would be any form filled, any lead given. Advocacy would be sent to a friend. Apps can be suggested to friends. Friends can be invited onto apps. That's advocacy. Number of status updates that one does using an application, as well as the press coverage if there are any of apps that the media does for itself. Sharing, these are sharing through blogs or through social media. You can have impression, number of blog posts, online articles, search ranking, press coverage, number of plays that you have, which is plays of videos or photos through the sharing platforms like YouTube, Flickr, the duration of the play as far as YouTube is concerned, the comments, the subscribers to the YouTube channel. Also from the YouTube channel, if there have been any call center inquiries on the phone number mentioned in the presentation or in the video or in the photographs, the number of tweets and so on. So as you can see, through awareness, appreciation, action and advocacy, you can track any aspect of your social media campaign. The most important being your advertising budgets. Awareness is the click-through rates that you're getting on your ad. Engagement or appreciation is the banner interaction, which might be the click. Action would be website referrals or brochure requests. Advocacy would be the share that they do further on your website. Now let's come to tools, which is the last leg